Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Rajiv Jain from Jivaji University Gwalior. Today we are going to discuss about a molecule, molecular spectroscopy, under the paper Fundamentals of Analytical Chemistry. In molecular spectroscopy, we shall study how, how by absorption of electromagnetic radiation in different parts of the wavelengths, at different wavelengths, what is the behavior of that molecule. Here we shall study how after absorbing the wavelengths of in particular range, how molecules are promoted to the excited state, to the higher state, and how they return. Here only we shall study the absorb what happens when electromagnetic radiations are absorbed in ultraviolet region, in visible region, and in infrared region. Ultraviolet region usually extends from 190 to 200 nanometer. Visible region extends from 400 to 800 uh, nanometer, and then IR infrared region is usually considered between 4000 centimeter inverse to 400 centimeter inverse. So the energy of ultraviolet region is energy required for promotion in ultraviolet region is higher in comparison to the infrared region. What information we get in ultraviolet and visible region, it is the electronic transitions, whereas in infrared region, it is the vibrations. Vibration take place. What is the condition for a molecule to be infrared active, IR active? That there should be a change in its dipole moment. But in case of ultraviolet and visible spectroscopy, electrons will move or will promote from the ground state to the excited level, means from bonding to anti-bonding orbitals. And this is the basis of our uh, application of uh, ultraviolet visible spectroscopy and infrared molecular spectroscopy. Why we call them molecular spectroscopy? Because here we are studying molecule as a whole. Whereas in atomic spectroscopy, we study the absorption or emission by atoms. Here we are studying absorption by molecule, and when these return to the ground state, then they emit different types of radiations which we study, which we shall not study in this chapter, in this module, which are considered as fluorescence, phosphorescence. But here we shall study only ultraviolet visible spectroscopy and infrared spectroscopy. The visible and ultraviolet spectra of molecules and ions are associated only with transitions between electronic energy levels of certain types or groups of atoms within the molecule and do not characterize the molecule as a whole. In contrast, as we have already seen, in contrast, we will see absorption of radiation in the infrared region is sufficient to stimulate the whole molecule under investigation to undergo vibrational and rotational changes which do reflect the whole structural entity. The much larger energies involved in the absorption of radiation in the ultraviolet region cause electronic as well as associated vibrational and rotational changes. Since complete dissolution of the electronic and closely spaced vibrational and rotational bonds is not possible, the overall shape of the absorption band is broad. This is the reason why the band is broad here, whereas in atomic emission we get line spectra. Two distinct regions exist in the ultraviolet. A, the near ultraviolet, which extends from 400 to 100 190 nanometer, and the far ultraviolet, which extends from 190 to 100 nanometer. Routine instrumentation, however, concentrates on the near ultraviolet since the absorption by silica, which is used for cells and optics, and by atmospheric oxygen below 190 nanometer deter measurements in the far ultraviolet region. A group of atoms that give rise to absorption in the near ultraviolet region is commonly known as chromophore. Most unsaturated groups and heteroatoms carrying lone pair of electrons are potential chromophores and are the main subject of structure elucidation in the near ultraviolet region. Theory of the ultraviolet and visible spectroscopy is based upon molecular orbitals. When two atoms form a chemical bond, electrons from both atoms participate in the bond and occupy a new orbital, which is called a molecular orbital. The bonding electrons are associated with the molecule as a whole and not with any particular nucleus. Two atomic orbitals from the two bonding atoms combine to form one bonding molecular orbital of low energy and one antibonding molecular orbital of very high energy. Recall that covalent bonds consisting of electron pairs may be sigma or pi bonds. Sigma bonds are formed when there is head-on atomic orbital overlap, and pi bonds result when there is parallel atomic orbital overlap. For example, parallel overlap of two atomic p orbitals. According to molecular orbital theory, each bonding sigma orbital must have a corresponding sigma star antibonding orbital, and each pi bonding orbital must have a corresponding pi star antibonding orbital. Electron cloud probability distribution for these four types of molecular orbitals have been shown in figure 1. Valence electrons, which are not participating in chemical bonding in molecules, are referred to as non-bonding or N-electrons. In organic molecules, N-electrons are located principally in the atomic orbitals of nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and the halogen. Electronic transitions for organic molecules involve the absorption of ultraviolet or visible radiation by electrons in n, sigma, or pi orbitals and result in their promotion to some high energy antibonding orbitals or in excited state. The order of energy levels of various molecular orbitals are shown in figure 2. Ultraviolet and visible radiation absorption promotes the electronic transitions sigma to sigma star, n to sigma star, n to pi star, and pi to pi star. The energy level diagram, as shown in figure 2, indicates that the delta E values for transitions are in the order n to pi star, n to pi star, then pi to pi star, n to pi star, and sigma to sigma star. Means sigma to sigma star requires maximum energy, whereas n to pi star requires minimum energy. The energy required for the sigma to sigma star transitions is very large. For example, propane exhibits a sigma to sigma star absorption maximum at 135 nanometer, which is well into the far ultraviolet region and inaccessible for study except under extraordinary conditions. As indicated above, compounds which contain non-bonding electrons display absorptions due to the n pi star and n sigma star transitions. Compounds which have characteristic n sigma star transitions include methyl chloride having lambda max at 173 nanometer, methyl alcohol having lambda max at 183 nanometer, and trimethylamine having lambda max at 227 nanometer. The lowest energy transition is represented by n pi star and thus requires the longest wavelength for electronic absorption. For example, saturated ketones and aldehydes show a low intensity N pi-star transitions absorption at about 200. Molecular electronic transitions may be represented in the manner as shown in figure 3. Remember that electronic transitions we have discussed necessarily include possible superimposed associated molecular vibrational and rotational change. Common terms which are used in discussions of electronic spectra include chromophore, oxochrome, bathochromic effect, and hypsochromic effect. The first two terms apply to the wavelength region near and above 200 nanometer and were introduced before the relatively recent interest in far ultraviolet studies. For our purposes, the definitions are useful because we will discuss electronic transitions only in the wavelength region near and above 200 nanometer, which is the lower wavelength limit of common commercial ultraviolet visible spectrophotometry. Chromophores are defined as functional groups which absorb near ultraviolet or visible radiation when they are bonded to a non-absorbing saturated residue which possess no unshared non-bonding valence electrode, for example, a chain of hydrocarbons. Most chromophores have unsaturated bonds. Oxochromes are functional groups such as OH, NH2, and Cl, which have non-bonding valence electrons and do not absorb radiation at wavelengths more than 200 nanometer. They do, however, exhibit intense absorption in the far ultraviolet region. When an exochrome is attached to a chromophore, the chromophore absorption band typically shifts to longer wavelengths, and this shift is known as bathochromic effect and increases in intensity. That is, the molar absorptivity E maximum at wavelength of maximum absorption lambda max increases. The hypsochromic effect is the shift of the absorption band to shorter wavelength. This effect is often noted when positive charge is introduced into the molecule and when changing from nonpolar to polar solvents. Uses of ultraviolet spectrum. In contemporary practice, the ultraviolet spectrum of a particular compound is recorded in conjunction with other spectral data such as infrared in an attempt to deduce its molecular structure. Ultraviolet spectra, however, do not furnish prime information as such, but tend to act as complementary or even supplementary evidence to infrared. In discussing the following spectra, it has been assumed, therefore, that functional groups have been successfully detected and we shall concern ourselves with ascertaining substitution patterns. For example, we have taken an absorption spectrum of aldehyde or ketone. This spectrum shows one absorption band at 217 nanometer with extinction coefficient at 7900, which can be assigned to an unsaturated aldehyde or ketone. A diene can be ruled out since only butadiene itself, lambda max 217 nanometer, but its extinction coefficient is 21,000, absorbs below 220 nanometer. If an beta unsaturated ketone is considered, only a vinyl ketone such as methyl vinyl ketone, lambda max is equal to 219 and extinction coefficient 300, 600 can be considered. But the E value for this type of compound is about 5,000. Thus, we are led to assign this spectrum to a monosubstituted beta unsaturated aldehyde, either alpha or beta substituted, for which the calculated values of lambda max are 217 nanometer and 290 nanometer. Now you have understood the ultraviolet and visible spectroscopy, what happens, how movement of different types of transitions takes place. Uh, what are the applications of this technique? One of the application you have very well appreciated is in the identification of organic compound or inorganic compound. What identification that most important application is of the technique is in studying the conjugation. If we extend the conjugation, what happens? What is the effect of extending the conjugation? How, what we can find out by UV visible spectroscopy? How by the application of visible spectroscopy we can find out different types of in different types of metals, metallic species can be estimated quantitatively by developing different colors by taking colorimetric reagents. Another application is its kinetic study. For kinetic study, suppose a substance which we have taken, any type of substance which absorbs at a particular wavelength. It absorbs at a wavelength around 250. But with concentration, with time, that concentration of that product will decrease and we will follow the kinetics at lambda max 250 of that particular substance, and that is used. Similarly, we can study the decomposition. Suppose a substance is decomposing into two or three products, then after certain time another peak will appear, another band will appear at different wavelengths. Then is the decomposition. Hydrolysis we can study. We can find out different structural changes occurring in a molecule by using ultraviolet and visible spectroscopy. In case of visible spectroscopy, the main application is in the quantitative determination of different types of organic and metallic species with the help of different types of calorimetric agents. For example, we can easily detect lead by formation of a complex or chelate with dithiazone. It forms a dark colored complex which can be easily detected or which can be easily observed in the visible region of the spectrum. Another spectroscopy based on absorption of electromagnetic radiation is infrared spectroscopy. The infrared region lies between the visible and radio portions of the electromagnetic spectrum. The most useful range lies between 4000 and 400 centimeters inverse as shown in the following figure. Molecular vibrations can occur by two different mechanisms. Firstly, quanta of infrared radiation can excite atoms to vibrate directly. The absorption of infrared radiation gives rise to the infrared spectrum. Secondly, quanta of visible light can achieve the same result indirectly, the Raman effect. Most organic molecules are fairly large and their resultant vibrational spectra are complex. To introduce the basic concepts governing vibrational spectra, a simple diatomic covalent bond will be considered as a spring with the atomic masses at either end as shown in the following figure. The stiffness of the spring is described by a force constant K. If such a simple system is put into motion by stretching and releasing, the induced vibrations of the masses are adequately described by Hooke's law of simple harmonic motion. In this figure, a ball and spring representation two atoms of a molecule vibrating in the direction of the bond has been shown. To a first approximation, this assumption of harmonic forces is in agreement with actual conditions in real molecules. However, quantum theory governs molecular motion and restricts the energy stored in the vibration E such that only certain energy transitions are allowed as determined by a quantum number nu. E nu is equal to nu plus half bracket close h nu as represented by equation 1, where nu is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. For instance, if a molecule has to undergo a transition from the lowest level nu 0 to the first level nu 1 by absorption of infrared radiation, the frequency of that exciting radiation would be given by the Bohr's principle, that is h nu is equal to E1 minus E0. Now equation 1 gives E0 is equal to half h nu and E1 is equal to 3 by 2 h nu. Therefore, by substitution, E1 minus E0 upon h is equal to nu. In summary, the absorption of infrared radiation causes the excitation of the molecule to higher vibration levels and it is quantized. The normal vibration has the same frequency as the electromagnetic radiation. The absorption process can occur only if there is a change in the magnitude and direction of the dipole moment of the bond. In the same manner, a transition from the lowest level to the second level, that is nu is equal to 2, would occur at a vibrational frequency 2 nu. According to Boltzmann distribution law, almost all molecules are in the lowest vibrational energy level, that is at nu is equal to 0 at room temperature. Therefore, vibrational transitions in a molecule are restricted to those occurring from the lowest level. However, selection rule forbids transitions which change the quantum number nu by more than 1 unit. This rule limits the observable transitions to the fundamental frequencies nu, that is, vibrational spectra should exhibit only characteristic vibrational frequencies corresponding to the various bonds within the molecule. This selection rule is obeyed for perfectly harmonic vibrations. In practice, molecular vibrations are not strictly harmonic and the selection rule fails, as is evident by the appearance of weak overtone vibrations. In polyatomic molecules, the atoms or covalent bonds are not rigidly linked together and are able to vibrate from their positions of rest. In addition, there are the bond angles enclosed by the various individual diatomic bonds, which result in a powerful qualitative method of describing the vibrations of polyatomic molecules. Since each type of chemical bond in a molecule involves different values of force constants and reduced masses, absorption of radiation will occur over a range of frequencies. Thus, if infrared radiation of successive frequencies is passed through a substance, a series of absorption bands is recorded, the active fundamental modes of vibration. These can be subdivided into the following classes. Stretching vibrations are those in which two bonded atoms continuously oscillate, changing the distance between them without changing the bond axis or bond angles. They are either isolated vibrations, for example, the OH bond, or H coupled vibrations, for example, the methylene group CH2. Coupled vibrations are symmetrical or unsymmetrical as shown in the following figure. In the symmetric case, both hydrogen atoms move away from the carbon simultaneously, while in the asymmetric case, one hydrogen moves toward the carbon while the other moves away. Stretching vibrations generally require higher energy than bending and are denoted by the Greek symbol nu, followed by the chemical group in parentheses after that. That is, nu in bracket carbonyl group is equal to 1600 centimeter inverse indicates that the fundamental stretching vibration of the carbonyl group is observed at 1600 centimeter inverse. Bending vibrations are characterized by a continuously changing angle between two bonds. Bending modes of aromatic CH groups, for instance, which take place in the plane of the phenyl nucleus, are denoted by the symbol delta CH, while those which occur out of the plane are denoted by the symbol gamma CH. This nomenclature also applies to alkenes and alkynes. Varying vibrations result when a non-linear three-atom structural unit oscillates back and forth in the equilibrium plane formed by the atoms and their two bonds as shown in the following figure. Such vibrations are denoted by the symbol omega in brackets here. Rocking vibrations occur where the same structural unit oscillates back and forth out of the equilibrium plane as shown in figure 9. The symbol to denote this particular mode of vibration is rho, CH2. Twisting vibration occur when the same structural unit rotates around the bond which joins it to the rest of the molecule as shown in figure 9. Such vibrations are recorded by the symbol tau, CH2. Scissoring vibrations occur when two non-bonded atoms move back and forth towards each other as shown in figure 9. These are denoted by the symbol S. Apart from these fundamental modes of vibration, harmonic and combination vibrations may also occur. Harmonic vibrations possess frequencies which represent approximately integral multiples of the fundamental frequency, for example, 2 nu or 2 delta. Frequencies of combination vibrations are composed of the sum of nu to omega or the difference between nu to s, the frequencies of two or more fundamental or harmonic vibrations. IR spectrum represents a veritable wealth of information about the basic characteristics of the molecule, namely the nature of the atom, their spatial arrangement, and their chemical linkage forces. It is for this reason that the infrared spectrum gained recognition as being a fingerprint of the molecule. In the IR spectrum, two spectral regions are distinguished: the region of group frequencies and the fingerprint region. Group frequency region lies approximately between 4000 centimeter inverse and 1400 centimeter inverse. In this region, the principal absorption bands may be assigned to vibration units consisting of only two atoms, and the frequency is characteristic of their masses and the force constant of their linkage. This simplification ignores the rest of the molecule. The functional groups of organic molecules illustrate such vibrational units. To a first approximation, the frequency of their fundamental stretching mode xy nu is independent of the influence of the rest of the molecule, that is, all alcohols have nu OH at approximately 3600 centimeter inverse. Such influences do reveal themselves on careful study and can offer valuable evidence as to the nature of the neighboring atoms. The fingerprint region extends from 1400 centimeter inverse to 400 centimeter inverse. The resulting bands are of course unique to a particular molecule and can be used for the unambiguous identification of that molecule, provided you have a standard spectrum of that substance previously recorded on file. One exception to this rule is that a series of compounds, such as long chain fatty acids, can give almost identical spectra. So now we shall discuss a representative spectra for the interpretation point of view. Let us first examine the infrared spectra of some representative compounds and correlate absorption bands with molecular structure. Here I shall discuss a simple hydrocarbon N-hexane. The infrared spectrum of N-hexane is shown in the following figure, which exhibits vibrational absorption bands which are characteristic of aliphatic hydrocarbons, that is, asymmetric and symmetric CH stretching, averaged at 2899 centimeter inverse, CH2 scissoring, that is at 1471 centimeter inverse, and C bond CH3 bending at 1381 centimeter inverse. The weak bend near 725 centimeter is caused by bending vibrations of the 4CH2 units. So in this way, we can very well interpret the spectrum of N-hexane. Similarly, by taking the value in different regions, different types of compound can be interpreted. So, students, in this module, you have studied the basic fundamental principle of ultraviolet visible spectroscopy and IR spectroscopy. IR spectroscopy is usually used for the identification of functional groups. It has two regions. One provides knowledge of the one part and another is the fingerprint region. That fingerprint region is different for each and every molecule. By studying in that region, we may assign different groups or different bondings, which may be of different types, as you have seen here, to different types of uh, wave numbers. Whereas in UV visible spectroscopy, it involves electronic transitions. Electronic transitions are occurring in IR spectroscopy. It is vibrations in the atoms in a molecule which are taking place. It may be twisting, scissoring, different types of movement are being taking place, and by sublimation of UV visible and IR spectroscopy, we can elucidate the structure of an unknown compound, whether it is an organic compound or inorganic compound. With the help of UV visible spectroscopy, you can easily find out the uh, conjugation involved therein, whereas with the help of IR spectroscopy, on one side you can find out the molecular structure, and in the fingerprint region, by combination of both, you can find out the different types of functional group, whether it involves alcoholic group, phenolic group, or it involves carbonyl group at different frequencies, at different, particularly different frequencies. You can estimate, you can assign different groups. So both techniques are very important and can be used in structure elucidation of organic and structure elucidation of organic compound, as well as of in metal complex. For metal complexes particularly, IR spectroscopy is very useful for assigning metal oxygen bond, metal nitrogen bond. We may have to go instead of 400 to 250 centimeter inward for finding out the peak of new peak which has been developed due to the coordination of compound, due to the coordination of that particular site with the ligand. So overall, we can say this types of molecular spectroscopy, whether emission, whether it is absorption spectroscopy, ultraviolet visible spectroscopy, or IR spectroscopy, which involves the change in dipole moment. UV visible involves the electronic transitions, whereas IR involves the vibrations in atoms. Maybe different types of vibrations may be there, but both provide information about the molecular structure of a molecule.